For the most part, I stay away from mobile games, mostly because I'm a stingy so-and-so and can't bear to part with my precious clams for a chance to get some special edition character or outfit in a game. I have tried some Pokemon mobile games before, like Magikarp Jump and Pokemon Sleep, and I was pleasantly surprised by both of them. They were both pretty wholesome, cute games and weren't obnoxious with the whole "would you like to spend money" invitations every 2 seconds. Gold star select button. There is another Pokemon mobile game I've been curious about for a while, and today is the day to dive in. Pokemon Cafe Remix. Developed by Genius Sonority. If you've ever played one of those cute little games with the Pokemon icons, it's basically the latest in that series. It's the one that features in Pokemon Direct every year, and you're like, yeah, this looks cute, but show me the next game! It's on mobile devices and also Switch. I kinda just assumed it wasn't on there because then you'd only be able to play it in handheld mode, and yep, that's how it is. I was obsessed with Pokemon Shuffle back in the day, it was a concern. I've always been a sucker for cute, and the aesthetics of these games are cute. Soft colors, cute little animations, Pokemon-themed food. What more could a Lucy want? The mons in this game really lend themselves well to this soft, chibi style. Even stuff like Dialga and Palkia look great. Please take Charizard away from me. Did you know that the little Pokemon icons have been functionally the same for 20 years now? Just updated a little stylistically with each release. I really love what they've done with them for Cafe. The colored lines and soft shading are a great match for the soft vibe the game's going for. I start up the game to this cute cutscene of me and Eevee starting up our own little Pokemon cafe. Just us two against the world. And Leah. So how's Cafe different to all the other games with little Pokemon faces? Chose I had you moving rows and columns to make matches, Shuffle threw that out the window and said, hey, just move the Pokemon wherever you want. And then Cafe Remix takes it a step further, like, nah, that's too restrictive, just move the whole board wherever you want. It's a much more tactile experience. From when I need to position everything with total precision. Like, the megaphones are only really meant to be able to hit one line, but I find if I position it just right, then I can cheat it and get it to hit two. To just going wild and trying to make the biggest chain I can. Each level has different requirements to complete, like a certain score or objects to clear. All the objects are, of course, food-themed. Some icons are pretty simple and you just need to make matches next to them to clear them. Some need to be guided toward a basket. Some of them will multiply if you don't clear them early and end up taking over the whole level. It can be quite clever, really. I'm making a milkshake, and in the puzzle I have to combine the milk and the shaker by sort of swirling everything around, like a milkshake. Each dish falls into one category: entrees, drinks, sweets, and small plates. And each Pokemon will specialize in one of these categories. I like how there's new gameplay elements quite far into the game. Around 500 orders, I go to make the next order and there's a bunch of strawberries I gotta figure out how to clear. Or at around 1,200 orders, these turnips start showing up. I don't think it's mentioned anywhere in the game, but the Pokemon have weight mechanics, which is wild. So say you're trying to make matches with something super light like Togepi. If it's surrounded by heavier Pokemon, then the chain is going to feel slow and hard to move. Or with Slurpuff, you can kind of feel the cherry thing on its head getting stuck, so it's more awkward to move around. Part of me appreciates it, because it's like, oh, every Pokemon has extra thought and care put into it, but a larger part is like, oh... I get to pick the leader, but I have no control over what other Pokemon are in the level, so if I get stuck between a bunch of real heavy stuff, then it's tough luck. I do wish there was some kind of cohesion with the different staff. During regular orders, you choose a team leader and the other staff in the level are just seemingly random. I guess it kind of forces you to try and level up everything you have because you will use all of the staff throughout the game, and if their puzzle scores are all super low, then it'll hurt your scores. Only the skills of the team leader will activate, and even then the skills will only activate if your staff member's dish category matches what you're making, because otherwise it's just useless. Really, everything other than the team leader is useless. I only use the pokes other than the leader if there's loads of them and I need to remove clutter. For events and training, they do let you use the skills of the whole team, but for your regular levels, you're on your own. When you clear the level, the dish is made, and if you get 3 stars, then that means 3 hearts for our customer. Once their heart meter fills up, they'll be like, wow, I love the food. Guess I work here now. And they're now a member of your staff, complete with hat and apron. All the staff have the same basic uniform concept, but it's just so goofy on some of them. Munchlax has to wear the cap on one of his ears. Or Gyarados. The special Pokemon designs are way better than they were in Shuffle. To be fair though, the special variants in Pokemon Shuffle consisted of Fennekin, but he's winking, Vanillite, but he's facing the side, and Surprised Pikachu. Okay, I take it back, this one is acceptable. But some of the guys in Cafe are dripped out. Look at this Mew's fit. I got an Alolan Raichu dressed as a pancake chef. This year for Valentine's Day, they had Inteleon Suave Server. Why is he looking at me like that? No, stop it. This ain't Pokemon Coliseum. Please leave. There's a Charmander DJ with a headset that's half the size of his body. I bet he'd be much more comfortable wearing Raycons. Okay, gotta admit, that was a slick transition. I'm proud of it. So new year, new me. Totally gonna be more active this year and go on more walks. But hey, this year I've got a couple of little buddies to help me out. With the help of my Raycons and their top-notch noise cancellation feature, I can have me my quiet time while out in the noisy outside world. They're even sweat resistant, so in the scenario where I'm really speed walking, they're good. Raycon's quality rivals the big boy names, but at a fraction of the price. We got them in a variety of fun colors. I went for the royal blue ones and they go very nicely in this swanky Galaxy wireless charging case. The quick charge function means that I only have to put these bad boys in for 10 minutes and that'll give me a whole hour and a half of me time. With full charge, they have a battery life of 32 hours. You can go to buyraycon.com/CandyEvie to get 15% off of everything site-wide. That's right, you'll get 15% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/CandyEvie. It really supports the channel, so thanks for checking them out, and big thanks to Raycon. Alright, back to the cafe. At this point, I'm having a blast. I'm unlocking new offerings, getting new staff members, I'm just completely blitzing through it all. There's a constant stream of dopamine hits. I get rewards from the bingo, the cooking challenge, muse challenge, the monthly challenge, weekly challenge, daily challenge. I got these weird macaron things and I have no idea what to do with them. I'm sure they're not important though, it's fine. I think I got maybe 3 hours of gameplay before I realized, oh yeah, this isn't how these games work. All of my extra stamina shards ran out and I couldn't do any more levels. You need 1 stamina shard each time you want to do a level, and these take 15 minutes each to regenerate, and you can regenerate a maximum of 5 at a time. As soon as those hearts reach 0, I can feel Leah's eyes slowly drift toward my purse. But this time it's not quite the usual, oh, you're out of lives? Well, you can get another. For a quid. The only way to directly get more stamina shards from the shop is to spend 4,000 golden acorns. This game's currency. Which, yeah, is a bit, but you do earn these during regular gameplay anyway. There's no sort of exclusive real money currency. And you can only get 1 of these packs a week, which is more than doable if you're a free-to-play player. Wait, no, very wrong, badly researched, Lucy. It turns out, yes, you can basically infinitely spend acorns to play more levels. I didn't realize this because in 5 months I never tapped on the start button when I was out of lives. I'm out of lives, why would I? Yep, sure enough, it lets you spend acorns to get more. Oops. I only really used my acorns on the heaping helping tickets, so I usually had around 20 or 30,000 at a time. You can also get them through the battle passes. I think they usually have 2 of these going on at one time, a regular monthly one and then a special one, which has a very special price. The rewards are standard in-game items like more stamina shards, cookies, and experience tarts, but hey, this is the only way you can get yourself a Leafeon, or a Machoke in a hiker outfit. You can also get more shards from the various non-paid rewards, or you can join a team online and beg for them. I'm in a team called the Boys. I assume the battle passes are the main source of revenue for this game, but there also is a sort of soft gacha element, but it's really not obnoxious and you can easily enjoy the game without ever touching it. The game was never built on gacha mechanics anyway, they only really added it about a year or 2 in. It's called Pelipper Delivery, which is where you make deliveries to Pokemon. If it's one you don't have, cool, now it's on your staff. If you already have it, then it gives that Pokemon an outfit upgrade, which is basically a power-up. After 4 outfit upgrades, it'll just give you a delivery point, which you can use in the delivery shop to buy stuff like more tickets. You get 1 of these deliveries a day for these different seasonal banners that have chances to get exclusive Pokemon variants. The free one takes 23 hours to complete, but if you didn't get anything good, then you can always buy another. And this one will come right away. Takes them a day to complete the regular delivery, but as soon as you flash the cash, Pelipper can't go quick enough. The express deliveries cost 3,000 golden acorns each, which of course you can buy, but you get loads of them during regular gameplay anyway. The 5-star ultra mega cool outfit Pokemon has a delivery chance of 1% though, so chances are you're gonna need a lot of acorns if you want it. You could go crazy and spend 100 trying to get this sailor outfit Glaceon, and I'm sure there are people that do, but I'm not one of them. With these sorts of games, you've got categories of players. There are free-to-play players, me, people that might spend a cheeky bit here and there, and whales. Now, a whale is basically someone that drops obscene amounts into the game. I do not understand it, but I respect it because it is these whales that keep the game running. But there's no reason for me to not do the free delivery, so off Pelipper flew. And a day later, he comes back to reveal the customer was a weasel, a new staff member, very cool. Now, there are absolutely loads of potential customers. Even the chance to get weasel was only 2.28%. And I had more than enough, so I thought for 3,000 more golden acorns, yeah, go on, I'll have another cheeky spin. 1 in 1,923 chance for that to happen, very cool. I don't have the footage because my phone ran out of space, but I swear it happened, please believe me, it was very upsetting. Spin it again and pretend that didn't happen. Alright, go again. Oh, okay, the next one, it was a big rare Sneasel stylish server. This is adequate. Over the span of 5 months, I did get incredibly lucky from these, and I managed to get 4 of the main outfit Pokemon from the deliveries. People spent actual money trying to get these, and I got all of them on dumb luck. There is a sort of insurance element to the gacha. You get your free order every day, but for every order that you make using acorns, you get a delivery stamp, separate to delivery points. When you get to 150 stamps, you can exchange them for a rare Pokemon of your liking. So if you're desperate for that little snom wearing an ice cream cone and you still don't get it after 150 tries and the game kind of just feels sorry for you and it's like, yeah, just have it anyway. I mean, to get to that point, you'd need to have spent around 250 quid in real money, so I feel like not having the snom is the least of your worries at that point. You know, as gachas go, there are definitely way worse. I've seen nightmarish Reddit threads of people that spent like $1,000 to get a specific character and didn't even get it. Just the sentence, yeah, having to spend up to £250 for a single character isn't the worst. It's just such a jump scare when I really stop to think about it. Look, I'm old-fashioned. I like to pay for physical things with physical money and be done with it. I will not move with the times. But hey, Pokemon Center Japan was happy to oblige my wishes, because a rarity for spin-off games, there's actually a line of plushies for the game. And you know me, I'm not gonna pass up the opportunity to get tax-exemptable plushies. And these are some quality plushies. They were made right when the game came out in 2020. At that time it had a different name, Cafe Mixed, and then it later became Cafe Remix about a year later. In Japan, it was also known as Cafe Mix, even the logo was in English. But now it's a lot of not English words. Welcome, Pokemon Cafe Mixing Puzzles. Hey, it gets the message across. In the original Cafe Mix, you used to get new customers by getting new decorations. These would be unlocked after you reached order milestones. They did away with that in Cafe Remix for the current system, which is where you level up your staff members to create new offerings. Oh yeah, that's what they call dishes in this game, offerings. I think the new system's way better. It's incentive to level up all your staff members, and I like how it implies that each Pokemon has a favorite meal. Mine likes the Rabombi chocolate cake. Curly's favorite is the Litwick hot cocoa, and Hisuian Voltorb likes the Score Bunny berry sandwich. How does he eat it? As you unlock more offerings, you'll get more Pokemon coming to visit, which will then eventually be able to make their own dishes and invite more new pokes. Apparently before the update, you basically had infinite stamina and it only went down if you lost a level, but of course now you lose one every time you do an order. They also changed the soundtrack, but I honestly think it was better before. I've had it playing in the background of this video as very chilled out, like something I'd put in my house music playlist. Remix also has a totally different set of main levels from Cafe Mix. The previous levels are all playable in a section called Extra Orders, and if you manage to get through enough of them, then you can get yourself a Chef's White's Pikachu and Lucario. After 1,200 orders, I'm not doing that. If I played this game non-stop until I got to that Lucario, didn't sleep, phone glued to my hands, just waiting for my stamina to refill every 15 minutes, and assuming I clear every single level on the first try, it would take me 12.5 days. Cafe Remix has 2,400 orders, and once you hit that, you get to Master Cafe mode. I don't know much about it, I did not get that far. It has a few special pokes in Master Super Chef outfits. They've had events in cafes since the beginning, but they used to be more of just a new customer that shows up every now and then that you can recruit and a sort of challenge board to go along with it. But the events in Remix are separate to the cafe area itself and have a competitive element to them. You basically just redo the same order again and again as part of the event and try and get the highest score possible to go up the event levels and get goodies. There are rankings, and the highest I ever got to was 22,000 for the first day or two, and then I was unranked for the rest of the event. The top 500 gets a cool profile icon. All of the top scores are of course people with perfectly suited 5-star Pokemon with outfits from various delivery events. All max level of course. Yeah, these events are a lot slower for new players and and wow, they can get grindy. So the first event for me was Hisuian Zorua's Tea Party. You got some pokes and you gotta make meals in succession and get as many delicious points for the tea party guests as possible. If you get all of them to delicious level 6, then Hisuian Zorua will join your tea party. Again, I had like 2 staff members when I started this, so very, very grindy. But then I see that if I get far enough, then I'll get a shiny Hisuian Zorua to join my staff, so I guess my hands are tied. I'll do it for you. Hisuian Typhlosion is demanding and he needs a lot of delicious points, but after I make him like 20 combi waffles, he gives me 10 tickets for the gacha thing. Dude, 10 tickets is like 30 quid in real money, wow! Suddenly I love gacha, spin the wheel. I get some nice new guys, including an Oshawott, a Sneasel, and I was blessed with this Jirachi. The next event was sort of a team event for an Alolan Raichu. I just got the Raichu and then stopped playing it. Same with the Clodsire one. All of the events are set up in a very similar way. It's basically just a 2-week reward card. Disjointed, but again, have I told you how pretty this game is? All of the in-game artwork for the food really hits the spot for me. It looks like the kind of thing that you get in the actual Pokemon Cafe. I will go to one of these one day. You know, they actually had real dishes based off of the ones from the game a few years ago. The opportunity for me to partake in these is long gone though, so I had the wonderful idea to make one of them myself. They all look way too complicated, so we'll keep it simple and just go with the Eevee Latte. First, we need a mug. I have many cool Pokemon mugs that'd be up to the task, but for accuracy, I need to get a rounded Pokeball mug. They do official ones at Pokemon Cafe, but I'm not paying 50 quid to import one. A family member of mine actually happened to be in Japan while I was writing the script, so I was like, please acquire me one of the precious mugs. It's an Eevee latte, but coffee's nasty, so really it's an Eevee hot chocolate. For simple latte art, you can make a stencil, so when you pour over the powder, it'll only go through the spaces on the stencil and you end up with a pretty picture. For this one, I take the official art and do a crude recreation, then very lightly trace over this onto paper. Yes, printing would be easier, I could not get my printer to work. Then we fix the paper onto a piece of thick card or plastic, get a blunt object and get to work. I sit down to start cutting when I realize that this Eevee makes absolutely no sense. The way that latte stencils work, right, is that you see the bits that have no powder on them. That's why there's plastic or card on the stencil, so it blocks the powder from going into those areas. So on the Eevee latte, the bits without powder are Eevee's mane and eyes. But that's impossible for an actual stencil, because where are the chunks for the eyes meant to connect to? For a cardboard stencil, you cut out Eevee's head and then the pieces for the eyes will just kind of float there, I guess. It's an illegal latte! If I want it to look as close to the game as possible, then I thought of a very janky solution to fix this. I make this weird sort of bridge between the eyes and the face and just fill in the rest of the powder manually. I again sit down to start cutting and then I realize that Eevee's mane also makes no sense. So I had to Tipp-X over it and slightly redraw it. Not a lot of room for error here, because I'm cutting the paper copy at the same time, so if I end up cutting off one of his ears, then I'll have to go back and redraw the whole thing. But with precision, I managed to free him from his paper prison. Cafe mug in hand, hot chocolate acquired. Will my stencil work? No, not even a little. I'm just a complete fool and don't understand how latte art works. A trip to Tezzy's and 1 can of squirty cream later, and finally we're ready. Again, I wanted it to be as close as possible to the in-game art, so I first put a load of squirty cream in a separate bowl and mix it with some hot chocolate powder to get a base that's closer to that light brown color. Carefully smooth it out on top of the hot chocolate, and then voila! Just like something you'd get in the real Pokemon Cafe. No, they would absolutely fire me. No severance package. But I got there in the end. Eevee hot chocolate. It's a cool proof of concept, and I'm probably never gonna use it again because I can't wash it. Gross. That was way too much work. I'm just gonna stick to the digital orders now. So after you hit 100 orders, you can do something called an additional order, which means that you get to make a meal for the same Pokemon you just served, which is good if you have one that you particularly want to join your staff, but you have to pay 500 acorns every time you do it. So let me get this straight. I'm serving you again, and I have to pay you for it. Obviously, I'm pretty much never going to choose this, so it basically just eats up one of the slots, which is great, just great. There are 4 possible slots that the customers can take up. You start with 2 and get to have another one when you unlock the parlor area, and the 4th is only open if you have the premium pass. You get to expand the cafe as you hire more staff members, but as far as I'm aware, this doesn't actually do anything. Other than the one that unlocks an extra customer slot, they're kinda just there. Seems to be something left over from Cafe Mix. Like pretty much every Pokemon game now, spin-off or not, Cafe Remix has shinies! And shinies are kind of my thing, so I'm sort of obligated to find one.
So I see 12, technically 11, what I assume are encounters every time I finish an offering. So if the base shiny rate is around 1 in 1,200, then it really shouldn't take long to find one at all. And sure enough, lucky order 281, the little shuffle button did the sparkle thing. A squirrel, very cool. So shinies need 18 hearts to be recruited. 3 stars gets 3 hearts, and I can use a heaping helping ticket to get another 2. Technically, you can also get a further 2 if you do it using the happy bonus, but this has a random chance to activate once a day, and I'm not waiting. In my excitement, I forgot to do a heaping helping on my first order, but if you recall, I can pay him to have more food. Seems an unfair arrangement, but anything for you, my dearest. I get 5 more hearts, okay, let's go again, and he's gone. So it seems you can't serve any customer more than twice. He's gonna come back though, right? I search for reassurance and I see people on Reddit saying, just wait for it, it'll come back. Yeah, don't worry, you'll be back. So now that he's got some hearts, is he just kind of in the general rotation of regular customers now? Is that how it works? So I just continue doing orders, and after a couple of days, the shuffle customers button begins to sparkle. Dude took his sweet time, but hey, at least he's back. That's not a squirrel. Neither is that. Nope. No. Okay, that's a little bit closer. Nope, we're getting further away. No. So what I'm getting here is wait for it to come back means wait until the shiny generates again, with the exact same odds as before. There's nothing else like this. Imagine you find a shiny in any other game and it's like, to catch me, you must answer these questions 3.
Okay.
Are you, Lucy, a chump? Yes. Correct you are, but now I must travel far. What about the other 2 questions? Beyond recruiting every Pokemon and completing all of the orders, I guess the main thing you work toward is just leveling up all of your staff as high as possible. There are lots of ways to gain experience, by doing regular orders, training, special events, or you can just cram all these little cupcakes down Minchino's gob. Regular orders give literally 10 experience, and this does not change, so do not train your staff this way. The regular orders are really just for getting new staff and cookies. And shiny hunting. Every Pokemon has its own unique cookies that it needs to level up. Once you recruit a Pokemon from the cafe, then its mates will start to show up and they will give you the cookies you need. When you have the max amount, then they start to give you milestone cookies, which are basically just cookies that you can use on anything. The special rainbow staff that you get from Pelipper delivery are really powerful, but shame that I can't level them up past level 10 because they need these special cookies that I can't get because they don't show up as customers. You can level them up with milestone cookies, but they're kind of awkward to get and they really don't stretch very far. Leveling up makes your matches more powerful and unlocks more skills, but most importantly, it gives you access to different uniform colors. My Chimchar has the swag. There are 3 basic specialist gimmicks that you can learn at level 3, 5, and 15. Some staff have a secret 4th skill that you can unlock using something called a kitchen note. For the 5 months I was playing, there were 2 opportunities to acquire and use said kitchen notes. Apparently they used to be a lot easier to get, and now they're limited to specific events and are more paywalled, so sucks to suck, I guess. I think there was such a missed opportunity with Pikachu. They should have made one of his skills ketchup because Ash's Pikachu is just an absolute ketchup gremlin. The levels here only cap at 25, but it's a very different level curve from your regular Pokemon games. It starts off easy, but by the time you get to level 25, you need nearly 200k experience. It is doable with enough grinding, and you get the free tarts every day. So I get to level 20 and... Oh no. That's what the mysterious macarons are for? And I need 30 of them? 3-0? So you get 5 of each type of macaron every week. Very occasionally you might get the odd one during an event, but for the most part the daily challenge is the only way to get them. Sometimes the special passes will also have macaron rewards. This Umbreon one has 30. That's conveniently exactly the right amount you need for £19. So yeah, I guess if you get all the passes you can cut that time down by a few months, but otherwise you gotta be on that grind. Going at this rate, for me to max level every Pokemon I currently have, it would take me 2.5 years. And I've barely scratched the surface. I just started playing, so if I was an absolute die-hard Pokemon Cafe fan since the beginning, then there's a total of 197 unique staff. Bear in mind, shinies count as separate Pokemon. So to level up every single Pokemon, it would take you 6 years. It's almost like this game isn't meant to be completed. Cafe Remix is a game that I almost never hear about outside of Pokemon Day streams. I was always a bit confused as to why it was featured, but it starts to make more sense when I realize that I'm not the intended demographic. Clearly the lion's share of the player base is in Japan. Just look at all the top scores in the rankings, it's all just Japan. And Japan is kind of the birthplace of gacha, so maybe Japanese audiences are just more receptive to it. I had a look at a site called App Magic. I don't know how precise the stats are, but it's a good place to start. Looking at lifetime revenue for Pokemon Cafe Remix, it estimates that Japan takes up 57% of the total revenue, despite having 25% of the total downloads. Or an even better example, Pokemon Masters EX, a game that's more gacha, has just 11% of the lifetime downloads in Japan, but 51% of its lifetime revenue. They have stopped making new levels as of last year for Cafe Remix, so I don't know if that means that it's starting to wind down, but for now the game is still going with its regular events and new Pokemon being released all the time. Even while I was making this video, they totally changed the UI on the home screen. I think I liked it better before. But at least next Pokemon Day stream I can be like, hey, I've actually played that! But just like pretty much every mobile game, you have to go into it knowing you're never gonna get any sort of sense of completion. They ain't built that way. It's a cute pastime, but don't put your rent money into trying to get a Mimikyu and a teacup. This was a much longer video than I anticipated for a Pokemon puzzle game, but hey, I had a lot to say. But for now, the cafe's closed, my shift is over, I'm locking up. Hey, guess what? I'm coming back to streaming and I'm live right now as this video's up. Oh, hey, I know it's been a bit. Life has been good, but a lot. I moved again and I have 2 more munchkins now. They will be on my stream if you want to see them. Yes, I am using kittens to get you to come to the stream. I hope it works. See ya!